Hi, friends. Thanks so much for joining my live on Facebook and Instagram today. It's Friday and I go live on Fridays. So thank you for joining me. I am recording this session for the future, so you will probably see this again. And today we are talking about supportive communities. And we all know that it's important to have support and to have people in our lives that care about us and support us. But today we're going to talk about, first of all, why that's important. Second of all, why it's important for us to find that for our young people. And third, how you can find that community in your life and be part of that community for someone else. So those are the three pieces that we're going to do today. So first of all, I want to start by defining community, because I'm noticing that our words definitions are being stolen and changed. So whenever we're talking to someone about something, it's really important to ask them, what do you mean by that word? And so today, just to define this for this video, I just want to say that a community is a group of people with like interests, attitudes, and goals. So we all have something in common. So you might have a community of parents, you might have a community of business owners, you might have a community of homeschoolers, but inside that community, then there's like smaller communities. So today we are talking, and I would like to share with you how you as a homeschool parent can have your community and how important it is to build that same community for your young person and teach them how to build a community for themselves. So we know that community makes us feel like we belong, okay? Should that be intrinsic? Should we be looking elsewhere for people to validate us? No, our validation doesn't come from others. Our validation should come from God. Our validation should come from meeting our goals in life. However, God made us to be in community. He made us to be part of family groups and friend groups and supportive groups. And we see this in the New Testament. We see that we are the body of Christ, that we're supposed to hold each other accountable and support each other. That's what I'm talking about today. So we know that when we don't feel like we belong, we have lots of words for that. We feel alone, we feel lost, abandoned, excluded, forsaken, disowned, discarded, left out, unseen, forgotten, cut off. We can all identify with those feelings today, can't we? There have been times in our lives when we felt that. And, maybe as homeschoolers, we feel like we're outside the mainstream. We're thinking outside the box. And sometimes, I don't know, sometimes as a homeschooler, I felt like I am so far out of the box that I can't even see the box from here. Like there's no way I'm like everybody else. And I don't want to be like everybody else, but I want to be like somebody. I want to have a community. I want to have a group of like-minded people that will support and share and care so that I can feel connected and welcome and involved and included and accepted. And that's what we all want. That's what our teens want. So should we only find that in our nuclear family? Should we only find that in our home relationship, or is it important to find that outside of that relationship? So I'm going to go way out on a limb here, and I'm just going to put my opinion right out there. And I'm going to say, I don't think home's enough. So when your kids are really young, yeah, home's enough. But even then we want them to learn to play with others and learn how to share and learn all of those things. So even then we're looking outside of our home. But if we have a larger family, we could probably in the younger years get away with that. But is the nuclear family enough? If the nuclear family were enough, I'd still be in my nuclear family with my parents and my brother. God made us to grow up, to become independent, to go out, to find others, and to connect outside of our nuclear family. That's the way He created us. And your young person, they need that as well. They need some space where they can grow, that they can develop, they can gain some independence, they can have some belonging outside of their nuclear family. If you disagree, that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'd love to hear your opinion and why. But I do think that our home environment is very important, and it should be a place of belonging, and it should be a place of nurture and acceptance and welcome, where everyone feels seen and heard. But our young people also need to look outside, and very often so do we need to look outside. You know, my husband will never know what it's like to be a perimenopausal woman. He's not gonna. You know, he's never gonna know what it's like to spend every day, all day with the kids for weeks on end, teaching them, because he did one day and said he didn't know how I did it. And he was just done. He didn't want to do that. No way. Right? Sometimes we need people that know, that have experienced it, so that we can feel in a group that understands where we are. That's not to say that our spouse and our parents or our neighbors or our friends that aren't homeschooling or aren't women or aren't our age can't understand, be supportive, and be a part of our community. Absolutely not. Intergenerational community is so important. So this is not about excluding communities, but I just want to say that it's super important that we develop and we find communities outside that can support us and help us, and for our young people as well, because they're growing and developing, and they are looking for a peer group that is going to help them to feel like they belong. Especially as homeschoolers, I know my students, my kids, they really felt like they just didn't belong. Everyone else got up every morning and packed a lunch and put a backpack on and went in the school bus or went down the street to school, and they didn't. And they knew from very, very young that they were different. And to them, different meant that they didn't belong. And you know what? I don't want to belong in this world. And I don't want my kids to belong in this world. And there are many areas I don't want them to belong, but it is important and vitally important to have a place where we do belong. It's important because it's important to our health. So when this says holistic health, I'm not talking about essential oils and naturopaths and all of that. Okay, that's a whole nother topic that I don't dig into because it's not language arts. However, I will say that when we look at health at a holistic level, being a part of a community is vitally important. Being a part of a community makes us socially healthy. And when people say, well, how are you going to socialize your kids? I think this is what they mean. They mean, how is your child going to be socially healthy? How are they going to have a sense of belonging? How are they going to have a sense of competitiveness in a peer group? How are they going to be challenged? And we can be challenged mentally and physically in a community. We can be challenged spiritually, and we can be challenged emotionally. So when we're in a community, we can have all of those pieces. And research shows us that people who feel like they belong, feel like they are cared for and seen, have better mental health and a higher sense of well-being than people who don't. So it's very important for our emotional well-being to be part of a supportive community. And it's excellent for mental health as well. In an educational facet, so let's look at that educationally as homeschoolers. It's really important that we have a community that can support us, that can give us advice about math and science and English and grammar and all the pieces that, you know, maybe we can't be good at everything. We can't be good at everything, and we need people we can reach out to that can help us to grow and develop, that can give us advice. So that's not really part of mental, but they don't actually put educational on this diagram. So in an educational way, we need to have that. Someone like pouring into our lives. We need to have people we can reach out to in our community that can support us in areas where we are weak. So I'm not good at math. And you know, I was really bad at asking for help. Really bad. It has taken me years and years and years to learn how to ask for help. And it's so important. And I really failed my kids because I didn't reach out and ask for help. I didn't get them math help because I could figure it out. And you know, I did figure it out, but they would have excelled far more if they had someone who wasn't struggling so much to figure it out before they taught them. So it's important to have people to draw on in our community. You might find that in many different ways, and we're going to talk about that. So spiritually, we need to have a community that's going to hold us accountable. The New Testament talks about, being part of the body of Christ and holding each other up, encouraging each other on to love and good deeds. And it also talks about approaching our brothers and sisters, other people in God's family, and saying that we have a relationship with, that's in our personal community, and saying, I love you and I care about you, but what you're doing, do you know that's not right? Those are part of being in a community, to be challenged, to be held accountable. And in every area of our life, we need people who will push us, who will help us to grow and develop, and who will hold us accountable for the daily habits that we need to do, and who will come and talk to us if, we're straying off the path, because that's really important too. And I bet that you want people in your young person's life to be like that, don't you? Are you looking for people like that for your life? So, as parents, first of all, we need to have these communities. We need to seek out places that can give us support, emotional support, spiritual support, social support, educational support. We need to find people who are going to help us to dream big, to set goals, to make plans, and then to stay accountable to those plans. That's what's going to make us succeed. And that's how we're going to show our young people how they can succeed. And for our young people, we need to do that as well. We need to set up for them or help them to set up groups that are going to help them succeed. So you might find this in a co-op. It's very difficult sometimes to find it close to you with people that your students click with. But you might find that in a co-op. You're going to find social there. You will find educational help there, emotional help, and physical help as well. So all of those pieces really are going to be helpful in your journey. You might find it by looking at your extended family and your extended peer group. So what adults are in your life that you could reach out and you could ask them to mentor you? Who do you respect and look up to? Because it's very important that you reach out to people, actively ask them to invest in you, because it's so important. The Bible says that the older women should mentor the younger women. Yes, where is that happening? Let's reach out to those older than us, or even those the same age, but who are farther down the path, or people who we respect, and ask them to pour into us. So as adults, we need that. As teens so need a community where they can feel like they belong, where they can be challenged, where they can see that other people are struggling too, where they can see that keeping at the daily tasks and habits is important and makes a difference. We don't want our young people surrounded by people who are just coasting through life. We don't want our young people surrounded by other teens who are going to just fritter away their lives from one enjoyable thing to the next. There's nothing wrong with doing enjoyable things, but oh my, there is so much in life that we could do if we applied ourselves. We want our young people to do hard things. Do they have a peer group with other young people? Not necessarily their exact age, but other young people that they can work together with, that's going to encourage them to dream and set goals and do hard things. Other young people that they see doing hard things. Let's look for that for our young people. Let's look for mentors for them. Let's look for business mentors, education mentors, spiritual mentors, people who can pour into their lives. And the next thing I want to talk about is the support and advice and understanding. And this piece is the one that we understand about community. We understand that when we're in a community, that we can go there and we can say, man, today is horrible. I just want to quit. My kid wouldn't eat their lunch again, and I'm just so done. I don't know what else to do. And the other person's going to understand, and they're going to care. And they're going to say, hey, I've been there too. Have you tried this? I tried this and it didn't work, but I tried, it might work for you. Or I tried this and it worked for my kid, at least for a couple of weeks, because don't you have to seem to keep changing it up? Yeah, I know, I've been there. And, so we can be there. But I also want to encourage you in that group, in that peer group that you have, which side are you on? Are you on the support giving or the support receiving side? We are more likely going to be one way or the other. That's not a judgment or a slam. That's just the facts. My character is to be a mentor, to be caring, to help other people, to support other people. That's just who God made me to be. And it took me into my well into my 30s and early 40s before I was willing to ask for help. That's terrible. If you are someone who tends to want to support and care and give, maybe too much, you need to learn to ask for help. Find out what you need and go looking for that support, because it's very important that you get supported too. You can't just give out and give out and give out. You have to have people supporting you as well. And if you tend to be on the receiving end, that you feel that you need constant affirmation and people to help you work on and get advice and understand where you are, and you need that a lot. There's nothing wrong with that. God's made us all different. But make sure that you know that that's your tendency, and learn how to be an equal partner and support others as well. So this picture on the screen of the two people, they both look exactly the same. And they need to be interchangeable. Sometimes you need to be the person on top of the arrow, getting the support and the push up. And sometimes you need to be the person doing the hard work underneath and doing the support. So I want to encourage you to do that, and to teach your young person to do that. In a peer group, they need to learn how to be givers and receivers. They need to learn to do that in every area of their life. So it's really important that we model this for our young people, and that we train them in it as well. So that's really, really important. So first of all, we talked today about the importance of community. We talked about where you can look for community. So you can look in co-op groups, you can look in Facebook groups, you can look in your extended family, you can look in your church family, you can look in your homeschool co-op. There's going to be people that you connect with more than others. Find those people. And we talked about the importance for our young people. If we want our young people to be successful, and we want them to grow, to develop, and to achieve things in life, to do hard things, they need support, they need advice, they need understanding, they need community, they need a group of peers, their age and a little bit older, that are going to push them to do hard things, push them to follow through, hold them accountable, and hold them accountable in all of the areas of their life, and to help them and guide them, to show them that whether they win or lose, they still belong. Whether they're succeeding or failing, they're still cared for and they're still supported. So we're going to make sure that we look for that. So this is the summer. You probably are homeschooling a little bit less. Some will homeschool a bit through the summer. But I do want to say this is your opportunity to take some time, catalog the people in your life, look around you. Who has God put into your life to support you and to help you? Do you have aunts and uncles? Do you have brothers and sisters? Do you have grandparents and grandparents in your family that would help you? What do you need help with? Do you need help in a certain subject? Do you need help with childcare? Do you need help with your own personal development and making sure that you stay accountable? What are your goals for next year for your homeschool? If you're struggling to be consistent and follow through on your plan, find someone to hold you accountable. And you don't have to have a plan for the whole year. If you want to look at a plan that you can reevaluate every couple of months and you can make tweaks and changes to, that's okay. But then hold to it for that period and see, because you can't know if it's going to work right away. Find someone who's going to hold you accountable. It might be an individual, it might be a group. Find someone who you can share with spiritually, who's going to to help you to be accountable for the daily habits that you need to nurture your spiritual growth. So look at the areas where you need help. Look at the people in your life and in your community, in your church, in your homeschool groups, in your Facebook groups. Find a community that's going to support you. And talk to your young people. What are your dreams and goals? Who do you respect? Who do you want to be like? Let's talk to them. Let's set up a mentorship. Let's get together and, hey, listen, if I give you like $15 a month to take that person out for coffee and donuts, will you go and talk to them and, talk to them about your life? Your kid's not going to turn down coffee and donuts once a month to go talk to an old person. Oh, yeah, it'll be the best relationship of their life. So go ahead, figure out what you can do. Figure out what you can do to make this work for you. Maybe you're feeling alone. Maybe you take stock and you look around and your family's not supportive, they're critical. Maybe you don't have a wider circle of friends. Maybe you're new in your community. Maybe you don't have anyone to support you. I would like to invite you to the Language Arts Success group. And I would like to say to you that this is a learning community where I want you to be able to reach out and ask questions, get language arts help, get parenting help, reach out and meet people who really care about their student success and having their student excel. This is the parent group that is in Language Arts Success. This parent group are the group of parents who want to nurture a Christian worldview, who want to create an environment where their young person is going to succeed and develop and grow and be challenged and dream big and change this world. Those are the parents that you're going to find there. So reach out, get to know people. And I would love to invite you to join me there. You'll find the link below. You can check out my website. It's discerntolearn.com. There's a blog page there. You can read some blogs about homeschooling there. Maybe you write a blog. Why don't you shoot me an email or contact me through DM and, ask me if I'd be interested in working with you, and shoot me an idea for a blog, because I'd love to have you be a guest blogger on my blog. There's some freebies there for some homeschool resources that I'm adding to on a regular basis. If there's a resource that you're looking for, let me know. I'd love to see if I can create it for you. Of course, not a math resource. That's not there. I know what I'm good at, and I'm just going to stick with that. And I'm going to outsource the things that I know that I'm not good at. So the other thing you will find there are homework companions. I do teach virtual classes and tutoring classes. And you will find on the homework companion page the exact same homework that I use in my virtual classes, not the tutoring classes, but the virtual classes. And it's a little sparse right now, but by the end of August, you'll be seeing it be populated so that you'll be able to gain access to the same homework that my students have. You won't get the virtual class. You won't get the one-on-one support. You won't get the feedback and grading or the reports at the end of the term, but you will have your lesson planned all for you. You will have every week's homework there for you, and that will help to take a load off your shoulders. So please do reach out. Find someone, never learn alone. And if you have language arts questions, please do contact me. This is not a sales pitch. I'm a mentor. I care. I just want to help people with their language arts. So if you have questions, please reach out, and I would be happy to answer any questions you have about language arts topics. So I hope this was educational and helpful, and I look forward to talking to you in the near future. Thanks so much for joining.